Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to your run on the Impossible Dream. Today it is a transfer special as we move from Season 12 into Season 13 and we can see the finances are looking very healthy. Over 100 million in the bank. We'll get a little bit more when the Champions League wraps up. I don't think that's happened just yet, although it is June 2nd, so it can't be too far away. But we have a transfer budget of 53 million. It was a transfer budget of 64 million. That's gone down because we've already made 2 signings. We'll catch you up on those momentarily here. But the wage budget, that's the big thing. It's doubled. We have over £500,000 a week to spend on wages. And, well, let's go and see if we can spend it. But let's start by having a look at what we know is already happening. Now, we knew about this guy coming in at the end of his contract, a young Swedish goalkeeper, Tobias Olivejari, or something along those lines. Promising goalkeeper. We'll see how he goes when he gets here, but he will be joining us. Now, the two that you don't yet know about, they're both midfielders, but very different midfielders. First man is Scott Howe from Copenhagen, signing for 10.75 million. Both of these guys, we triggered a release fee, which is why it was done nice and early, just to make sure that there was nothing that could go wrong. Now, he is an ambitious defensive midfielder, and the reason that I've signed him is what I thought was a little bit obvious to me last season, was that when Alvarez was injured, we didn't really have anybody else, in Europe I'm talking about here more so, but to go and sit in front of the defense and shield them. This guy, I think, could do a very good job. Now, bearing in mind he's only 18, he's already got really good tackling, anticipation is good, positioning is fine, it could do with being better, and we'll try and work on that. But physically, he's fairly well-rounded as well, and he can pass the ball, which is always nice in a midfielder. So I think, as a backup to Alvarez for now, probably taking over long-term in that role as first choice, I think he's a very good 10 point, whatever it was, million spent. And the other player that we've signed is from Dinamo Zagreb for 5.5 million. It is Igor Rasesic. Let's go with that. And he is a very different midfielder, but at 19, 4 Croatian caps already. He's potentially very good. Now, again, what I like about him, passing and vision, we like that. But also, he's got good determination. His work rate's not too bad, but also the composure in the first touch. Outside of that, technically, there's maybe some holes in his game. Tackling ideally would be better, but he's not that sort of player, clearly. But, you know, like marking, long throws, long shots, heading, free kicks, he doesn't need to have that necessarily. What he needs to have technically, he's got. Mentally, he's quite good, and physically, again, he's fairly strong. So, yeah, sort of, we'll probably look to use him more in a number 10 role, perhaps. Or certainly as an advanced playmaker. Maybe even in Europe we could play him in there instead of Montel, or Gavia perhaps. But anyway, it gives us options, and at 5.5 million it was a little bit of a no-brainer to go and take him, and it weakens Dinamo as well, which is always nice, isn't it? We don't like Dinamo. Alright, let's see where else this summer takes us now. Alright, so the playoff has happened and Varazden have snuck through 1-0 over Rudez, so just the 1 up, 1 down again. But this means we've got some league awards now. So Player of the Year went to Jurovic, the Aussie striker. I am very tempted to just go and sign all these players from them, but they might get taken off our hands anyway. There's quite a bit of interest in there for him. He also won the Golden Boot, and Pinter, perhaps unsurprisingly, won the goalkeeper of the year. He is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, so you would expect that from him. Team of the season, Pinter was the only player in the team of the season, despite us taking that title race all the way to the final day. What's this? Top goal scorers in the division below, so that was our guy out there on loan that got third. I'll come back to you. I can't remember why. Oh no, he wants to be a star player, but I'm not convinced I want him to be a star player moving forward. I still want him to be in the squad, don't get me wrong, but a star player is a lot of game time to be promising. We hit the tax bill, that's all well and good. And if you're wondering as well, I think the world is coming to an end because Tottenham have won the Champions League. So, yeah, there we go. Get your affairs in order, everybody. Okay, Philip, welcome back, mate. Fantastic to have you back with us. It really is. We've missed you. But yeah, now you're here. Just take a look around, make yourself at home. And yeah, I look forward to taking things forward with you. Yeah, mate, yeah, of course you'll be doing some coaching, obviously. But right now, I think your talents are probably best used here. So the great man is back, Elias Phillett. He had surprisingly retired at the age of 33. So we've gone and snapped him up as an under-19 coach slash assistant manager at the local Phillett Burger in downtown Zagreb. So yeah, we'll get him some coaching badges, some chef licenses, and off he goes. Good to have him back though, isn't it? And more good news, another legend returns. Tommy G, at the age of 37, has just retired. So he is back as well as an under-19s coach. And again, we'll get him some coaching badges. And hopefully he gets a little bit better than the 1s and 2s that he currently... he was a good player. Surely his attacking coach, he's got to have better than 2, doesn't he? Anyway, Tommy G's back. Alright, so we've got a European season tick over, so we'll get to that in just a second. We're still the 10th reputable league, though, but Von Groningen is coming in for big bids. He's unhappy because it's the second lot of bids that have come in, and he wanted to go to Leeds for some reason. So yeah, Von Groningen might be about to kick off, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, Jarun, we have rose back up to 23rd in the standings, which is good. England and Spain get those two coefficient things. We've got our homegrown players here for Europe, and we can see here some players that become very important because they are club trained. So the likes of Pinter, of Crespi, these guys that are first teamers anyway, the fact that they are also qualified as Jarun players when we register the squad makes them that much more valuable again. So yeah, that's where we're at in terms of the league, and I'll try and show you this as best I can. It's always difficult because it's lots of small numbers and whatnot, but you can see here Portugal has kicked quite clear of us the last 2 seasons, but crucially this season, we're not defending anything as a league, essentially, and they've got one of their better seasons coming off. So if we look at the number over here, we basically come into the season neck and neck with them, and the Netherlands not that far away either. So we could, if the league in general has a very good year in Europe, we could potentially find ourselves in 6th, and that's when it starts to get very exciting in terms of qualification places as well. Alright, so transfer window has opened, which means our 2 new signings have arrived. So Resesic is here, valued at roughly what we paid for him, so that's good. Still got that potential ability, though. He could be very, very special for us. And then Scotty Howe is here as well. Again, still got the value in terms of ability, and transfer value again is roughly what we paid for him. So that's all good that they're here. And the bids are coming in. Just to give you a quick idea of what we've got here, Jaka Busic, nowhere near the 16 million that we said he would go for. Von Groningen, Chelsea came back in again. That's actually Chelsea he wanted to go to, not Leeds. I misread. I don't know why I thought it was Leeds, but anyway, hopefully he doesn't kick off about that. And Gonzalez has got some interest coming in, which is the last thing we need. And Pinter, as you would expect, there's bids coming in for him as well. Alright, so we are at July 1st, which means contracts have expired, which means Martin Palumbo has officially left the club. What a great player he was. 33, still is to be fair. 33, he doesn't want to be a coach as of yet. I'm really hoping at some point he does, because I'd love to get him back, to be honest. I'd love to get him back and be a coach for us. But we'll see what happens with his career. He's on the short list, so I can sort of follow him. So we'll see what happens with him there. And we do have one new signing that has arrived now with the window opened, and that is our young goalkeeper. And I've got to say, he has actually arrived and is better, potentially-wise, than what we were expecting him to be. So the scouts have got it wrong, but in a good way for once. And that's very, very good. So what I'm thinking now is, well, he's not going to be a squad registered player for Europe yet, but I'm wondering if this means we could sell maybe Kosic and he sort of fills in as the third choice. And I guess the question then, if he's 17 years old when we signed him, is he going to qualify as a YAG? Technically, no, but it'd be a good way to get him some first team football, wouldn't it? So let me know what you think in the comments. Do we count him as a YAG, or do you have to have actually come through our academy, not just be signed into our under-19s? Question for the class there. Alright, so a very quick update of just some players that have gone out. Robert Horvat, who is one of our promising centre-backs, he is off to our affiliate in the 2nd tier for the season. He should play there and he should develop well, which is good. Novak, who have been, he's just not really ever found a spot in the team, although he is a YAG. 180 grand, 50% sell-on. He's off to Torino. He's not the worst, but for a defensive midfielder with tackling of 9, never really has a future with us, does he? So he's gone off. And the other one who was left out on loan again to our second tier side is one of our young strikers, Burkic. Again, he should play for them. And if there's going to be anything in terms of him having a future with us, which I don't think there is, but maybe he'll, if we can get £1 million for him, I will drive him to wherever he needs to go for that money, that's for sure. We have breaking news out of Croatia this evening as Jarun announced the signing of 18-year-old Norwegian striker Marius Vardal for £4.4 million from Viking. Now, manager Aussie Villain had this to say just moments ago. Yeah, look, mate, I mean, is he the new Haaland? Probably not. Did I promise him he'd be a first-team player? Yes. Do we already have too many strikers? Also, yes. All right, we've made a wonder kid signing an 18-year-old Norwegian striker. The next gen 50 strikes again. It's my greatest scouting tool of the season, honestly. So we've signed him 4.4 million, which is, I think, ridiculously cheap when we see what we've got. This, I mean, maybe he's not as good as he's going to get almost, but I tell you what, he's pretty good. Now, I have promised him that he's an important player, along with Lacko and Cena and Mazzoleni as well. So we've got 4 important players. Zabo could be an important player as well, actually. we need to play with 6 strikers to be able to give them all the game time I promised them. But anyway, $7.5 a week. It's a 5-year deal. It's a good one, I think, in terms of, you know, if he gets upset, he can't go anywhere for 5 years. Let's have a look at him. And for an 18-year-old, this is quite impressive, isn't it? Now, he's got all my important striking stats. He's a good finisher, good off-the-ball movement, good composure, and he's physically, you know, very, very, maybe could do a little bit better with jumping reach, but generally speaking, physically well-rounded. Not the worst in the air either. He can pass a bit, decent work rate. Teamwork could use a little bit of work perhaps, but I'm thinking he's going to be more an advanced forward poacher kind of player, similar to Madzar. Although he's probably better than Medzar and will become club trained at some point. Already 8 caps, 5 goals for Norway. There's everything about him says he's going to be good. Let's hope that that is indeed the case. Now, while we're here, just a few other loans to catch you up on as well, players that have left. Kopic has gone to our affiliate in the second tier, again, just to play week in, week out as an important player. It's going to do him wonders, I think. It just means we don't have him for the Yags this year. This guy's contract is up. He's a nothing. Don't worry about him. Vidovic is someone that I'm going to look to sell on, I think. He's gone to our affiliate in the second tier. He played a big part for them last year, so that tells you roughly the standard that they're at. Kosic has left on loan to Sabala, which I think is a second tier team. We're slowly moving away from him, I think, so that's that. And the other one that's left actually going to Rijeka is Kranjak. Now, we may remember he had a really good spell last season. He was sort of second to Madzar in the Yags, so we will miss him for that this season. But I really want to see if he goes. He's going to be an important player for Rijeka, so I want him to go there, see how he does, and that will help me decide if he's someone that we want to keep around, which, given that I've signed way too many strikers, probably not anyway. But it gives me an idea of what we can expect from him, and worst case scenario, it gets his transfer value up, doesn't it? Playing in the top tier and hopefully scoring goals. So that's a catch up on everybody that's gone out on loan as well. And we've still got a little bit of time to go before the window closes. So we'll see if we can do some more. Look, Anton scored some big, great goals for us last season. You know, there's no doubt about that, and we're grateful to him for it. But he is a little bit fickle. We got a good fee, so we wish him well in Saudi. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Aussie, is 7 strikers going to be enough this season? Nobody panic. I've signed another one. And better yet, he's a Socceroo as well. Alright, so we've had a major departure in terms of a transfer fee anyway. Anton Zabo is left to go off to Saudi Arabia. 16 million up front, potentially rising up to 24 million. That, in my books, is a very, very good fee for someone who was scored some big goals for us, let's be honest. But, yeah, I just don't think... A fickle personality, he wasn't really developing. Is he any better now than when we signed him? I don't really think so, to be honest. So we've got a good fee for him. We paid 700,000, and to get 16, potentially 24 million back, I think we can all agree is a nice little return on investment. So that's him left. But we did sign another player, and that is because you can never have too many strikers. But anyway, I had to do it. He's Australian. Luke Allen has joined us for £1 million from Perth Glory. Potentially, if he plays 50 games, which I can almost guarantee you he will not, it's 200 grand, which is essentially nothing. Three grand a week as a breakthrough prospect, and he's 19. So let's have a look at him. And I mean, for Australian, he's pretty good, to be honest. So why did I sign him? He reminds me a little bit of Madzar, like a poor man's Madzar. He's better in the air, though. Decent jumping reach, but good heading. And he doesn't have the off-the-ball movement, perhaps, but there is actually a decent player in there somewhere. If he can develop a little bit for us, he's played 4 times for the Socceroos, not scored a goal yet. 21 from 33 in the A-League is not too bad. So we'll see what we get. If we cash in on him down the line, fantastic. And if we don't, then let's hope he's a bit of a cult hero for us as well. Okay, so we are at game day of the start of the season. We start against Istra this year, so we get a nice little chance to get revenge on them not doing a job for us against Aussie the last final day of last season. But we are in a very good place financially. We've just got just under 100 million in the bank. This is before European money, of course. Hopefully, we're going to get Champions League money, but of course, a reminder, we need to qualify for that this season. It may well be we end up in the Europa League or Conference League. I mean, who knows? We've got 58 million to still spend, so we've pretty much broken even. We might have actually made money through the transfer window down to that Zabo sale. So, yeah, very, very good position. But let's have a look at the squad we've got to start the year. And of course, as a reminder, transfer window is very much still open. So goalkeepers, we know Tiber Pinta is going to be the number 1 for as long as we can keep him here. So that's good. Look at that transfer value as well. Huge. Miskovic, we did have some bids come in. Some good bids, to be fair. But to replace him as a good backup was going to cost more than we were going to get for him. So I'm more than happy to keep him and, not have the 5 million or so in the bank. We've got Tobias Orajavi, the new man, the promising goalkeeper. He could be very, very good. The coaching report actually says he could be as good, if not better, than Pinta. So that gives us a rough idea of what a good free transfer signing that could be. And sort of the 4th choice is going to be the Bozo that's come through the academy. Yeah, we're going to let me know in the comments whether we go with Bozo or Tobias in for the Yags. I really want to play Tobias, but technically not a Yag, obviously didn't come through our academy. If we go and have a look at the centre-backs, which side? I can't remember which side I set up. I think it's this side. Okay, so it's Alfredo Sanchez as one of the main 3, the first choice 3. We've got Safronov, who surprisingly no bids for him this window, which I thought we would get something. Crespi has had a lot of bids coming in. He's maybe someone that is sellable, but you can see his transfer value is not huge, so I don't really want to have to sell him. Jaka Busic, no one's getting anywhere near the 16 million that we promised we'd sell him for. And again, another person that there's no need to sell him, I don't think. He was disappointing last year, but he's still only 20 now. So he's still got improving to do. Then we've got into Skolaba, who was one of the YAG options, and Taninsky, who has had some bids coming in. I actually think I rate him above Skolaba at this point. He's very, very solid. And, yeah, there's absolutely no need to sell him either. And then we've got Alvarez, who can play. We've got Tankovic as well, who I'm thinking we can see 500,000. I'd be willing to sell him. He's 20 now, and he's probably not going to improve too much more. So we'll see what happens with him. If we move forward to left wing back, and we've got Gonzalez, lots of bids coming in for him. He's a little bit unhappy. In fact, he's a lot unhappy that we didn't let him go to Leicester. But yeah, hopefully he'll get over that because he's very, very good, as we've seen. Kovacek is, I did actually, we had a sneaky bid to sign a left back from Spain and then sell him on, which is why it's listed there as 5 million. That all didn't work out for us, so he's still here as the backup. And then Rovis, last year of his deal, probably his last year as a Jarun player. If we can keep him as a coach, we'll do that. Maybe a sentimentality might kick in and we offer him another year, but we'll see what happens on that front. And then a couple of sort of backup options. Over on the right-hand side, Von Groningen, he is actually asking to leave because he wants to go somewhere. Chelsea, I think it was. He's so good, we just can't afford to let him go. We're in 2035, his contract runs for another 3 years. So we've got at least another 2 years of him. And even an unhappy Von Groningen is a very, very good player for us. Kovacic, he's still around. He's just a very, very solid backup. He's happy to be a backup or a squad player. And he does a good job in the league, where we don't necessarily need him as much defensively. He's absolutely brilliant. And then Dovasar as well, still around. I think we promised to sell him for 4.5 if that comes in as one of those. We will do it if we get 4.5 million, but again, as a third choice, very, very happy just to keep him around. Now, as for European games, we of course need this defensive midfield person. Alvarez will at least start the season as that backup man, as that first choice man, and then the backup to him will be the new signing Scott Howe, and he needs probably a season or two just to bed in, and then he's going to be flying, isn't he? He'll probably take over that role, and Alvarez will be on his way out. So that now moves us on to a little bit further forward in midfield, and we've got some good players here. Montel, we got bids over 50 million for him, but look at that. If we get a bid of 80 million for Montel, we probably need to sell him. He did sign a new contract this summer, so there's no desperate need. He's happy to stay, but 80 million for him would be a lot of money, wouldn't it? Vasgard, for now, oh no, he's unhappy again. So, that's just failing to win the league last year. He'll get over that, hopefully. And yeah, again, another one that's very, very good. Those two in midfield, first choice. Well, I don't think there's not many teams that would do better than that. Zinko, I did look to sell him. We got a bid of 10 million. I don't think we got 12, but he rejected the contract, which was a little bit annoying. He's sellable. I think he is sellable, but he's still one of our better midfielders. We've got one of the new boys, Resesic. Now, he will probably predominantly play back here, but I want to train him in as a number 10 as well. Just so that he's an option to come in and play behind the strikers. Then we've got some of the club trained players. Haska, 20 years old now. We do get bids for him. Haska and Perso, I see them very much similar sort of players where I don't want to sell them because they're club trained. Then we don't get bids. The bids we get are sort of 3-4 million, so it's not really enough because we'd have to replace them in the squad, and they wouldn't be squad trained players. We do have one or two actually that are coming through. This guy is looking very, very nice indeed. I think we had him out on loan the end of last year and did well. And then we've got Zalak, who we have seen in the first team score some good goals. He was out on loan the end of last season at Gorica as well, and he's looking a very good option. So maybe we could sell one of Haska Perso, but that's why I was trying to sell Zinko, because he's not club trained, that little bit older, that's not going to get any better, and that would then enable more game time for the younger ones coming through, but we'll see what happens as the window comes to a close. Number 10, Gorica. Gorica, who are you? Gavia even. He's still the number one in this position. The only reason he's not, I'm sort of wavering a little bit, passing and vision is good but not exceptional, but there's other parts of his game that are very good. So yeah, I think he's maybe one of these. We don't play him as a playmaker in that role. We just need him to sort of be almost like a shadow striker, don't we? Just making his runs forward. He's got really good jumping reach as well, so he's just a little bit different, I think. Siraj, he's not developed probably at all in the last season or two, but he's still, we saw at the end of last year, when we need someone, when we need a goal, the amount of times he comes off the bench and provides it is freakish. So he's got to stay for that, if nothing else. Resesic, as I said, I want to try and retrain even to play in this position. And then we've got the youngster Ormarkic the second. And then there's one or two others that are good in this position that we've sent out on loan for this year to get first team football. And obviously some of the strikers, Vasgard, they could drop back in here as well. Which brings us on to the strikers. And this is very much a position of strength. We've got Lacko, who is absolute quality. We've got Sina, who is absolute quality. And then we've got Mazzoleni, who his attributes maybe don't look as good, but he's absolutely brilliant, doesn't he? The goals he scores as well, superb. Then we've got the new man, Vardal, again, potentially very, very good. We've got Madzar, who is a similar player to Vardal, and then we've got the new man, the Australian, Luke Allen, as well. So he'll get a little bit of playing time this year, I think. Another one. Do we let him be an honorary YAG just so he plays? Given that, well, he's 19, he's a little bit older than the goalkeeper, isn't he? But anyway, that is that, and one for you to answer in the comments. But there we go. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Unfortunately, the Super Cup thing wasn't played this year because Aussie won them both. Yeah, there was no need to play the game, apparently, so we didn't get to play that. Pre-season, as you can see, we've played a lot of games, just trying to get as many players match sharp as possible. So we'll be back next time. It'll be Istra and Slaven Belupo to start the season off, and then we'll see. There might be a lot of games at the start, because, I mean, Dinamo at home, and then the qualifying round, plus Osijek away, which is a big one, depending how this game goes. I never like to draw out the start of the seasons too much, but with having to qualify for the Champions League, that's kind of important, isn't it? So we might need to have a bit of a slower start to the season in terms of getting through it. But anyway, if you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. We'll get the season underway, have a look at some of the new boys, and hopefully get 6 points on the board. Take care.